Hey guys, John Lee Dumas here, founder and host of EO Fire, and you're listening to Bravepreneur Parents Academy with Balaji O.
Welcome to Bravepreneur Parents Academy, where the world's most inspiring entrepreneurs reveal their most defining childhood moments and share their legacy for raising brave little heroes who will grow up to change the world. And now, he still reads comic books under the blanket at bedtime. Please welcome your host, best-selling author, award-winning speaker, and self-confessed geek dad, Balaji O. You know, like the hotel in Vegas? Yeah, no, that's really his name. Balaji O.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bravepreneur Parents Academy. Today, we have the distinct pleasure of speaking with the man behind Wisdom Trek. I'm speaking about the one and only H. Guthrie Chamberlain. Now, H. Guthrie Chamberlain, or Guthrie as he's known to his friends, has started this amazing podcast called Wisdom Trek. Guthrie is one of 10 children. He comes from a very large and loving family and has a lot of wisdom to share with us. Guthrie is very passionate about leaving a legacy and inspiring others to do the same. So, if this sounds like it's up your alley, you're going to want to lean in. You're going to want to tune in and pay close attention because Guthrie's got a lot, and we're going to cover a lot of ground. On that note, Guthrie, welcome.
Thank you so much, Bellagio. Your energy is just terrific, and it just draws me in, and I hope it draws all your listeners in also.
Guthrie, thank you so much. I appreciate you being on the show. What is the concept behind Wisdom Trek? What were you thinking when you created Wisdom Trek podcast?
Well, as I've grown and matured through my years, through business and through raising 5 children of my own, I've had a passion my entire adult life for gaining wisdom personally. In doing so, I've read through the Book of Proverbs once a month for most of my adult life, so I read a chapter a day corresponding to the day of the month, and it is just a real passion. I see so many people struggling because they're making unwise choices, and I did not want to suffer some of the same traits. Obviously, as any of us, we do occasionally make some unwise choices in life, but I wanted to try to minimize that. So I have had a growing passion for the pursuit of wisdom personally, and then to be able to share that with others. My concept up to this point, or earlier, was to write a book someday on wisdom and life in general. But as the podcast has become a viable medium over the last few years, then my passion has also directed in that direction to be able to share via a podcast where people can consume it as they go about their day and doing other activities. And I wanted just a short nugget of wisdom, as I call it, each day that people can listen to and hopefully make an impact on their lives.
And you know, Guthrie's episodes are really short. 8 minutes, you're in, you're out, you get the wisdom, and you can apply it to your day that day. I really love that. But Guthrie, I want to talk a little bit about your tagline, creating a legacy. We hear that a lot, but I've got to be honest, life can be so busy that sometimes we really don't have much time to think about it. Tell us a little bit, Guthrie, about why this is so important to you that you've based your entire show around that concept.
Well, legacy, we generally will think about a legacy as something that we leave when we pass on from this world. And to me, that would be, if that is your only legacy, especially if it's only a financial or monetary legacy, I feel that you've done is a disservice to those that you can really have an impact on. So what I would like to foster in others and in my own life is to leave a living legacy each day, to make a positive impact, to affect others for good, to encourage others every day. And as your legacy grows or snowballs throughout your life, then people do look at you and refer to you as somebody or a role model or mentor that they would like to have in their lives. And creating that legacy each day is part of it, is realizing that life is difficult. We do have our uphill treks. We have our downhill slides. And with all that we're just not so in pursuit of a destination that we forget to take time each day to enjoy life, to impact others, and then to be able to show others the compassion and love that we should be able to show to everybody that we meet.
I love that. Guthrie, I'm looking at some photographs on your website, wisdom-trek.com right now, and as I mentioned in the introduction, you grew up with 9 siblings, 10 children. We don't necessarily see that every day. What was that experience like, and where were you in the pecking order of the 10 kids?
It was a great experience. I was the third oldest. I had 2 older sisters. I have 6 younger brothers and a younger sister. I tended to take on the first child attributes, and maybe it's because I was the first son in the family. So I do have had throughout my life a lot of leadership skills and drive in me. We grew up on an apple orchard, about 40 acres of apples and 100 acres total, so we had some wooded land that we would explore. And we grew up in an old farmhouse with one bathroom. And for 12 people sharing one bathroom, that becomes very difficult at times. Fortunately, there was a lot of guys in the family, and we can also use the woods for a bathroom at times.
I love it. Oh, that's great. Grew up on an orchard farm and everything. What were maybe some things that you learned growing up with that many siblings and also growing up in such an area with that much outdoors? What were some of the things that really came from your childhood that have helped you in your adulthood?
Well, I think the driving factor is the work ethic that we were able to gain. Yeah. We all had to work at the orchard, in the farm, doing various duties, picking apples or mowing or pruning, whatever task are required. We grew up poor. My dad had to work away from the farm a good many of the years just because the apple growing is not a dependable source of income. We'd had some good years, but we had a lot of bad years where either bad weather or bugs or blight of some sort would impact them. We grew organic apples, so we didn't have all the chemicals that sometimes kept the bugs away. So it was an added, I wouldn't say an added burden, because my parents were passionate about producing wholesome fruit for us. But another thing that I learned, my parents loved each other, and it was really evident. And I never, growing up throughout my childhood, ever came to a point where I would thought that their marriage was would have any problems. They always showed love for each other, and they always showed love for us, even when we weren't lovable at times. So that, and that was, if you would ask my mom's passed on now, but my dad's still alive. But if you would have asked her during some of those, especially the teen years, she probably would agree. Sometimes we weren't real lovable during those years.
Wow. Yeah, so what were your parents' respective parenting styles? Were they strict? Were they loving? How did that work?
It was a really good mix. They were strong parents as far as being strict on us, just to be able to corral that many kids and keep some semblance of order.
Right.
Would require a strong hand. Both mom and dad were strong parenting styles, but loving parenting styles. My mom's passion was children, and if she could have had 15 kids, she would have had that even more. She just loved having babies and loved taking care of them. So, there was a good mix in there, both a strong disciplinary measures, teaching from the scriptures to teach us how to love God, how to love others, and how to love ourselves even. And that's an important facet of our lives. We can't love others properly if we don't love ourselves in a proper manner, not an egotistical manner, but a good, solid sense of self-worth and self-responsibility.
Guthrie, I want to touch on that topic and unpack that a little bit more, because we do hear the term self-worth, self-esteem, self-confidence, and you've distinguished a healthy self-love from an egotistical one. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? How do we teach our kids the difference, and how do we let them know where the line is?
that is a really good point and somewhat of a difficult point, Balaji, because we need to have a good self-image of ourselves without it being unrealistic. I think some of the sports activities today where all children win is not necessarily a healthy dose of reality for them. I think our realization that life will be tough, that you will go through struggles, but through that, you can succeed and you can be victorious in life itself. Failure is part of life, and having a good self-image, realizing that failure is not a defeat, is not a defeat. It's a learning experience so that we can get back up on our feet and start again with more experience. And just to be able to realize that, I come from a Christian background, so for me, God didn't make no junk. I feel that as a wonderful creation, that we should have a respect for ourselves and a love for ourselves. And, I base a lot of my wisdom and a lot of my practice on my Christian beliefs. And one of the commandments, Christ boiled down the entire Old Testament law into 2 commandments, one to love God, and then the second to love others as yourself. And if you don't love yourself, you cannot love others properly. So you have to have a good, healthy sense of respect for yourself, of your abilities, and that you can make a difference in the world.
Yeah, that's profound. That's profound. Guthrie, I kind of want to know, transitioning a little bit to adulthood, I've been able to hear some of your stories on your podcasts, and I know that as an adult, this is talking about failure now and struggle and coming back from that. So as an adult, you and your wife, Paula, had a company that had some struggles. Can you talk a little bit about your entrepreneurial challenges and how you were able to overcome those?
I certainly will. We've been an entrepreneur most of our married life. We've just celebrated our 36th anniversary in August. So
congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a blissful, and I know most people will joke about their marriage, but we've had a tremendous marriage. We raised 5 kids of our own. Homeschooled them through high school, and 4 out of the 5 went on to college, and the 5th one decided she didn't want to. But through that struggle of the business, we started a technology company, a computer business, back in 1985. We grew respectably over the years and came to the point where we realized that we were sort of maxing out our capability of what we wanted to do with the business. There were some larger regional players in the area, and we thought if we could grow to a certain size that it would allow us to be an acquisition target for some of these larger companies. Through that, we acquired a small company that only had a handful of employees, and that transition went okay, although they didn't have necessarily the same moral or biblical values that we did. They were a minor part of the company. And then we went ahead and acquired another company that was similar to our size, and we knew the couple that ran that company from our years of experience going to computer conferences. Okay. And we thought, they were a decent couple. They expressed some of their moral values as similar to ours. Found out later that wasn't necessarily the case, but that's a side issue, I think. I think the real issue was we were going into the merger somewhat undercapitalized. We had gotten a promise from a bank that they would work with us on an SBA loan, a small business administration loan, in order to allow the merger to go through. In the fall of 2001, as everybody knows, we had 9/11. The dot-com boom busted about the same time. And as we went on into the winter and spring of that year, we were a month from our official merge date. We had already merged a lot of the operations of our company, and we're trying to sort out our respective roles. The bank came back and said, well, we've decided not to grant the loan.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that was a blow. But we said, we're this far into it. Let's make it work. What I didn't anticipate fully is, we had sorted out our responsibilities in the merged company. I was going to remain as the CEO and run the company from a higher perspective, or the top position, I guess you want to say, without, I don't want to sound bad because all of us had crucial roles in the company. But what I didn't anticipate is the other company being entrepreneurs for actually a little longer than we had at that point, which is about 18 years, that they had a real hard transition, stepping back and taking secondary roles, if you want to put it that way. And through that, we just could not reconcile some of the differences that we had. The merger was taking longer than what we anticipated. So they decided to pull out and spin off into a separate organization and took the ISP, or the internet provider portion of the business with them. And we just could not overcome the financial hurdles that we were at that point. So we made a choice to shut down the business, liquidate our inventory, pay off as much of the debt as possible. So that was definitely a difficult time for us, both financially and, it took a lot of energy emotionally for us. Everything we built up over 17 to 18 years, we basically had to cash in order to meet our obligations. So we basically had to start at ground zero again. Fortunately, and, I find it probably divine guidance. About 3 years prior to that, we started our consulting business, where we were starting to work with small businesses more on a management consulting basis. And we decided just to transition into that. We liquidate our inventory through eBay primarily. And I found a lot of other computer dealers had a lot of overstock and obsolete inventory that they were wanting to liquidate also. So for the first couple of years after that, we became an eBay dealer and worked with a lot of customers that way. And then I went into just full-time consulting work with a national organization for 3 years as a contractor, so I was somewhat mostly independent, and was a road warrior for 3 years. And after 5 to 6 years, we were finally getting back on our feet, where we were able to reassess where we were, and we wanted just to focus, Paul and I working together with a handful of customers to bring true value, helping them with their back-end systems, and working remotely, opposed to having to go into a job. So that's where sort of a long recap of how that transition took place.
Man, I mean, that is devastating, or it seems it would be in the moment. 17, 18 years of building all down the drain, and yet you guys were able to rebound. And this sort of ties to the lesson you were referring to for our kids, helping them to build that resilience by allowing them to fail.
Yeah, and it's very important, and we learned so many lessons through that, Balaji, that if I had the choice to go through that again, I wouldn't do it, by choice, but the experiences that we gained through that were, life-changing, not so much from a moral or a value perspective, but from how we looked at life, and realizing the pursuit of growing a business is not the end all, and that we can rebound and we can get back on our feet. And I think it really allowed Paul and I to become a little more compassionate with people, realizing that people do go through struggles, and yes, we worked hard to get to where we were, but within a year's time we lost it all and had to start over. So it gave us a good life lesson also. And that's I mix that in with our Wisdom Trek podcast, realizing that life's an uphill trek. We take it one step at a time. You might slip and fall, but just get back up and continue on.
Okay, I want to take folks on a little trick with you right now. I want to give them a taste of the Wisdom Trek. So with your permission, why don't we give them a couple of the Wisdom Trek lessons? Can we run through that really quick?
Sure can, yes.
Okay. Why is life like a garbage truck? You say on Wisdom Trek that life is like a garbage truck. What is H. Guthrie talking about?
Yeah, that tended to be one of the, I think one of the more popular episodes that I had. And their life is like a garbage truck because certain people, and if we don't watch out, we can fall prey to it, go around life gathering up all this garbage that we run into, and we store it instead of taking care of it responsibly and as we should. And then all of a sudden something even maybe minor will happen, and we just dump all this garbage on somebody else, or somebody else dumps it on us. And if we're not careful, we tend to pick up garbage all day long, or all throughout our lives. And if we're not careful on properly disposing it on a timely basis, then we will end up dumping it on somebody else, or if we run into individuals that have been accumulating this garbage in their own lives, and then we happen to be in the right or the wrong spot, wrong time, then we just get dumped on. And we have to realize that if somebody does that to us, it's usually not about us. It's about other things that they've been accumulating over time. And we need to, with compassion, realize that, that's unfortunate for them, but we're not going to allow that garbage to remain on us, and we're not going to stink because of that. And we're going to get rid of the garbage and continue on, in a clean vehicle opposed to a garbage truck.
Wow. Okay, let's give him another one, Guthrie. Life is like hiking at night.
This episode was realizing that we will not always see the whole picture of our lives. In fact, we'll rarely see that. We may only see the 10 or 20 foot ahead of us that our headlamp or our flashlight will illuminate for us, and that sometimes is enough. If we are in those periods where we're trekking along and we don't see much ahead of us or very far ahead of us, that's okay. We should certainly have a destination that we want to arrive at, but we may not see the trail to get us there. And as we just take one step at a time, see a few feet in front of us, and keep moving on, then we will be able to make the progress that we need to reach our destination. And we don't need to get so worked up that we don't have our life planned out, because in today's fast-changing world, even if you did have your life planned out, by a year from now, you'll probably have to change those plans anyway. So be satisfied just to see the illumination in front of you, and realize that when you get to the point where you need to make decisions, you'll have the wisdom and the experience in order to make those decisions properly.
Wow. I love that. Guthrie, you have a 4 or 5 day series on your podcast where you cover this topic. Your beliefs create your reality. Your beliefs create your reality. Mm-hmm. Could you unpack that for us a little bit? What are you referring to?
Most people don't realize that their belief system, or what's referred to as a paradigm, actually creates the reality that they have in their lives. For instance, if we have a belief system that everybody's out to get us, then everything that comes into our lives will be filtered through that paradigm or that belief system, and then it'll be everything is negative. And I'm sure we all know people that just seem like they're in one drama to the next. Because their belief system is that unless I'm in drama, then my life doesn't have impact or significance. So the more drama I can have in my life, the more real I feel. But that's not reality. You need on the converse of that, if you have a belief system that things are going to go well for you, that you're going to work hard, but you're going to make sure that you're positive about every day of work. Even you might not love work, you might have issues with it, but you're going to love the realization that today is a good day because, 1, you're able to work, 2, you have a job to work at, and 3, this could be a stepping stone to something even better. And if you filter that through a positivity mindset, then that becomes your reality. And then all of a sudden you start attracting those people and those things in life that will reflect the belief system that you have embedded in you. So your belief system really does become your reality. I tell people that each day you can choose to enjoy life or you can choose to hate life. And whatever you choose is what your life is going to be. And that is our belief system. Now, I go a little bit deeper with my faith in my belief system, but that's grounding me in the reason that I am positive, the reason I do pursue life with a passion and a desire for wisdom, and not only for myself. I mean, none of us should be a reservoir of what we either monetarily or of the knowledge that we have. We should be a river and allow that to flow through us in order to help other people. So those are part of our belief system and how our life will actually turn out.
That's profound, and I'd like to help our fellow parents understand, Guthrie, how we can take that concept, the concept of having a belief system, a view of life, if you want to call it that, that affects your reality. How do we help our children adopt a healthy view of their role in the world, a healthy belief system, if you will?
Well, first you have to, as a parent, make sure that your belief system is a healthy belief system. If you don't have a healthy belief system yourself, your children are just going to reflect what they see in you.
That's great.
And that's so important. So assuming that you, as a parent, have a healthy belief system, instill within your kids that they have the capability to do just about anything they choose to in life. At 5'4", I probably, although my passion during my early teen years was to become a NFL quarterback, that probably is not going to be a realistic passion for me. And my parents, I think, helped to guide some of my mentality there. But as a parent, help your children to realize that they do have the capability and the capacity within them to do what they want to do in life and to enjoy life. If they see you as a parent not enjoying life, then they won't enjoy life. If you show them that you enjoy it, not everything's going to go well, but you still enjoy it, and you take time to enjoy life, then that is very important. And this doesn't mean that we run and do everything the kids want to. I caution parents to get so involved with kid activities that they're running ragged, and then the kids are just running from one activity to another. I think we as parents need to be responsible to help to focus our children into the activities that are maybe best suited for their personality and their type, and don't overdo it, because if you overdo it, then life is just going to be frazzled. There's so many opportunities that we'll never be able to do everything that we want to do. I told my kids over the years, there's 1,000 things that I would love to do, both hobby-wise and work-wise and life-wise. But you have to realize that you choose what's best for you at this season in life. Right. Do those, and then maybe at some other season in life you'll be able to do other things. There's a phrase that, it may be okay to do something today, but is it wise to do it? You need to choose between what is okay to do and what is wise to do. And some of the things that are okay to do in your younger years as you're raising your children may just not be wise to do it. And it might have to be another season of life where you choose or have the opportunity to do other things. And it might be wiser later on to do those things. And secondly, or you may probably not secondly, but somewhere along the line, don't be so over your head with the pursuit of stuff. We get so bogged down with accumulating stuff in life that then we become owned by those things that we own, or we become a slave to those things that we own. And, if you have a huge house that requires a lot of maintenance or a lot of toys that you've accumulated, those things are going to own you, and you're going to work yourself to a frazzle in order just to maintain that lifestyle. There's so much more important things in life than accumulating stuff. And your kids don't care that you accumulate stuff. They may say they do, but in reality, they want the love of their parents, the instruction and discipline of their parents, and they want a life and a family that is loving and that they know that it's a loving situation. And then to do that in an encouraging way to help your kids to realize that they have the capability of doing it, encourage them to pursue their dreams and pursue them in a way that is both wise and also prudent for them.
Man, you said a lot in there, Guthrie. You said a lot, particularly for us modern parents with young kids and all of the technology and all of the scheduling of the sports. Man, you're hitting home right now, man. You're hitting home.
Experience brings that to us.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, this is really good stuff. I'm going to take this to heart. I have 2 young kids myself, 2 young boys. My older son plays soccer. Right now he's playing soccer 4 nights a week. It's the first time he's doing that, and he loves it. But at the same time, we do have those concerns that we might be getting him overscheduled. And not just from his standpoint, mom and dad have to drive him up and down each time. And we're getting kind of frazzled, too. So, I mean, this is a real reality check from the Wisdom Trek man himself. And I think it's okay for us as parents to maybe give ourselves a break and realize we're not going to get it 100% right, and we don't need that extra pressure of getting it 100% right. So maybe we can just adjust and tweak from time to time where we see areas that we need to improve in.
That's very true, Balaji, and also realize that make the best decisions that you can today with the knowledge that you have today. And then leave it. You know, you can't second guess what you should have done in the past, because we can't live in our past. We can only live in our present, which is today. That's all we're guaranteed is today. Yeah. So we need to keep that focus. You know, as I look back on some of the issues and struggles that we went through with both business and family, you know, at the time I was trying to make the best decision I knew with the knowledge I had at the time. And I have to leave it there and realize the experience that I gained, you know, I could have done it better, but the experience I gained through that helps me to make the better decision or the wiser decision moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very profound stuff. Folks, we've been listening to H. Guthrie Chamberlain III, by the way,
yes,
of wisdom-trek.com. You can find more daily wisdom, daily nuggets from Guthrie at wisdom-trek.com, and we can also find you on iTunes. Is that right?
That's correct. iTunes, Spreaker, SoundCloud, most of the sites that allow you to listen to podcasts.
Guthrie is everywhere, man. Take a trek along with this man. Subscribe to his podcast, please. You will not regret it. He's giving wisdom, especially for those of us who still have young kids. Guthrie has been through that season in life. He survived, and his kids are thriving.
Yes, they are.
His kids are thriving, and Guthrie is doing a lot to help not only himself but others create a legacy. Guthrie, thank you for sharing with us today.
Thank you so much, Balaji. I certainly appreciate the focus of your podcast, the focus of your business, in fact, and the books that you've produced are just phenomenal. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Guthrie. Just trying to be like you when I grow up, man.
You know, I appreciate that compliment, but, you know, continue what you're doing, Balaji, because you will make an impact not only on your own family, but on many, many other families.
Guthrie's telling me I can do anything.
You can.
I'm going to try it. And I'm 5'6", and I'm going to try it for center.
All right.
Maybe not. You've been listening to the Bravepreneur Parents Academy, and we've been enjoying the company of H. Guthrie Chamberlain III of wisdom-trek.com. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Until then, up, up, and away!
Thanks for supporting my dad's show. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to iTunes. He said hot chocolate is for closers. If you don't subscribe, I don't get hot chocolate. I love hot chocolate.
Fear not. Although this chapter of Bravepreneur Parents Academy has come to its conclusion, we have many more adventures for you and your brave little heroes. Head over to bravequest.me for access to the Brave Quest Journal, an interactive activity playbook that rewards your little ones with points for accomplishing tasks that build character and unleash your child's inner superhero all before bedtime. We look forward to having you join us for more adventures next time on Bravepreneur Parents Academy.